Hello and welcome to favoritefirm.com. My name is Joe Cortez, former international boxing referee from Las Vegas, Nevada. This past weekend we had Bernard Hopkins versus Karo Murat. Bernard Hopkins, 48 years young. And I say 48 years young because that's what he fought like. He fought like a young 28-year-old fighter. You know, Bernard surprises everybody. I think he surprises himself. He calls himself the alien now because he says he has alien blood, because this guy really is amazing. To be a fighter 48 years of age shows the world that he still has something in his boxing ability. He has something about Bernard that's different than most fighters out there. You know, Bernard is a clean fighter as far as maintaining himself physically clean. He doesn't drink, he doesn't smoke, he doesn't stay out late at night. The guy doesn't do anything, he doesn't party. He's dedicated to his boxing 150%. I wish some of these fighters out there will keep themselves half the condition that Bernard Hopkins stays in. Bernard, you know, for his age, I would say 28, but his real age is 48. I mean, come on, when do you find a fighter that has those boxing skills, the stamina? He fights, in the last round, he's fighting like if it was the first round. Karo Murat had his hands full. He tried. He nailed Hopkins with a couple of left hooks and some couple of right hands. But you know what? Bernard said, I want to knock this guy out. So Bernard kind of risked it a little bit. When you start throwing rapid combinations, what happens? You're going to get hit with a punch here or there. And in boxing, you are going to get hit. Don't think you're going to go out there and be untouchable all night long. Muhammad Ali used to get away with that long jab and the height that he had. And he didn't get hit that much. But, you know, he always got hit. You know, somebody always hit him. I remember when he got knocked down by Henry Cooper. Hit by Muhammad Ali. Ali goes down, and he thought he was untouchable. But in boxing, things happen. That's why Bernard Hopkins Saturday night got hit with a couple of good punches, but he stood up there, took him very well. I don't like to see fighters take punches like that. Bernard doesn't need that at his age, doesn't need to slug it out like that. But he thought he could knock out Murat. He tried it in the last rounds. He gave the fight fans their money's worth. And Bernard got away with a couple of little dirty tactics, kissing this guy in the back of the head, and on his back. Uncalled for Bernard. Murat got a point taken from him from hitting Hopkins with a low blow. He could have had another point taken from him, or maybe would have been disqualified when Hopkins slipped near the ropes, and he nailed Hopkins with two consecutive fouls, two shots while Hopkins was down. The referee didn't take any points there, but had Hopkins rolled over, then the referee we had no choice but to disqualify Murat. We don't need a black eye in boxing, but that could easily happen Saturday night. That's why I'll tell my referees out there, be on top of the action, especially when they get closer to the ropes. You should get a little closer. Don't be too far away. Anytime a fighter is close to the ropes, that's when the referee should step in 2 or 3 steps closer to the action, because I call the ropes is always a danger zone. The fighter can't back up no more. If you're going to get hit and get hurt, it can happen in the corners or up against the ropes. So Steve Smoker had no choice, because he was, it happened so quick. But again, had he gotten dropped from those 2 consecutive punches while he was on the canvas, then that's when the referee has to take action called time. You don't count, because he had slipped, but now he gets knocked out while being on the canvas. Fighter causes an injury, loses by disqualification. So that's according to the unified rules. So you have to be very, very careful. Fighters, if you're watching out there, don't hit your opponent while he's down. That's a no-no in boxing. And referees that are watching, remember, something like that, you must take points for the fighter causing those infractions. Those were intentional blows. It was not that it was, you know, I mean, Hopkins was definitely down. Karat got away. He got away with those infractions, but a good referee will definitely take the points. Steve is a good referee, but I think it slipped his mind. He didn't think no damage done. He wasn't going to take any points, so that's what happened. But anyway, Bernard Hopkins won a unanimous decision in Atlantic City, and he looked decent. And I would say that Bernard Hopkins still has a couple of good fights left in his career. I don't know who he can fight out there that can give him a decent fight. Maybe he should fight a guy, Pascal from Canada, Butte, may go up a little bit to the light heavyweight. Man, you know, I don't know who's out there for Bernard Hopkins right now because he looks pretty much unbeatable. There's not good quality fighters in his division that he can really take on, but whoever they're going to throw in front of him, going to have their hands full because Bernard looks like a 28-year-old fighter, not like a 48-year-old fighter. He looks decent for his age, 48 years young. On the undercard, Gabriel Rosado fought Peter Quillin, known as Kid Chocolate. Gabriel Rosado came out to fight. He was not intimidated by Kid Chocolate being undefeated. Kid Chocolate got the name Kid Chocolate from a former featherweight champion, actually bantamweight champion from Cuba, Havana, Cuba, and Peter Quillin showed that he has the skills of the old Kid Chocolate from Cuba. For you fighters that do not know, Peter Quillin is American-Cuban himself, and that's why he got that nickname Kid Chocolate. And are you going to remember him as Peter Quillin, or are you going to remember him as Kid Chocolate? Most likely, when he becomes more of a household name, and he started to give the fans some notice about his boxing skill. He's undefeated. Had Rosado down in the second round from a hard jab, and Rosado started to come on in the later rounds, and Rosado got a bad laceration on the eyelid in the middle of the ninth round. And the doctor was called in to check the cut during the rest period between the 9th and the 10th round, and he told the referee to watch the eye close because the cut was on the eyelid. Any fighter who gets a cut on it, if it's a tiny cut, not too bad, but that cut was over an inch and a half, and it's on the eyelid. If you let a fighter continue with that kind of a damage, you can cause permanent damage to the eye with the muscle. The muscle in the eyelid that opens it, you know, when you open and close your eyelid, it's a muscle in there, and if that gets damaged, the fighter may be in serious condition in later fights. He may not be able to fight anymore. So the doctor decided to stop the contest at 30 seconds into the 10th round, and Rosado, you know, complained about the stoppage. He said, "Come on, you know, I can see I was coming on now." He was coming on, but safety comes first. And you know what? It'll make a great rematch. But remember, referees out there watching, a cut on the eyelid is a very, very dangerous place to receive a cut. And the doctor did the right call. Safety first. Okay? He'll come back another day. It'll make a good rematch because he was coming on and was squeezing, tightening up the little gap. So he had gotten dropped in the second. That was a 2-point round. So he was coming on pretty decent. He looked strong, very confident. But a rematch will be coming in the near future, I'm sure of that. You have Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao fighting Brandon Rios coming November 24th from Macau, China. And then you have Mickey Garcia against Rocky Martinez. That fight was going to take place here at the MGM. Whatever happened, they changed it now, going to Texas, and probably get a bigger crowd there. And why the change, we don't know yet. But there's other great championship fights on the undercard of that. You got Donaire versus Tarkanian, Vic Tarkanian, and that's going to be another great fight. There's some other championship fight on the card. But it's going to be a great night of boxing come this November 24th. And you have these fight coming out of Texas. Boxing is going, leaving Las Vegas. What's going on these days, guys? Bring the fights in Las Vegas, leave him here. But anyway, it's going to be a good fight. Brandon Rios is a tough fighter for Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao coming off a devastating loss to Manuel Marquez, getting knocked out the way he did. He was out for several minutes, and that scares me a little bit. But if Marquez decides to give Pacquiao a rematch, that'd be great. I mean, that's what Manny was. Manny says, I want a rematch with Marquez. I want to fight Mayweather because that's what the fans want to see. But you know, like Mayweather says, this is a business now, and in boxing, there are two different promoters, and under different Showtime and HBO, and it's a little hairy there. The way things are going in boxing is a business deal, and Mayweather said that fight would probably never take place. I know the fans want to see it. They want to see Mayweather with Pacquiao. I'm sure Pacquiao and Mayweather each want to face each other, but it's a eternal matter with the networks and the promoters, and I hope that someday they come to their senses and say, you know, they give the fans what they want to see, and somebody will say, okay, let's make this fight happen before Mayweather retires or before Pacquiao retires, because they'll be talking about the fight that should have been and never was, because of the indifferences on the promoters and with the different networks. But I'm sure something will come up one day. Hopefully it happens within the next year or so, because these fighters are not getting any younger. And but then again, Pacquiao has to look good against Brandon Rios to keep on talking about fighting Mayweather. If he doesn't look good with Brandon Rios, something happens, something goes wrong. Mayweather, Pacquiao is history, and Pacquiao Marquez will be history. It'll be, if he was to fight Marquez, it'll be the 5th fight. And you know, every one of those fights they had in the past were great fights. So I like to see Marquez and Pacquiao fight once again. That's probably the fight that's going to happen much sooner than fighting Mayweather, because of the differences of the promoters and the networks. But anyway, with that said, guys, we'll see you next week. Take care.